So yesterday, there was a lot of trade speculation surrounded around Stephon Diggs, and I don't know who the original source of this instigator was, or I don't know who the original instigator of this speculation that happened yesterday was. I didn't see anything from Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, the big names you look to when it comes to roster moves in the NFL. Didn't see anything from them. So I don't know who started this. And I guess if we're reaching for stories, content, and doing this all for clickbait, I guess if you're doing that, it kind of makes sense to go with that when you consider last Sunday's embarrassing loss against the Bears, where Stephon Diggs reportedly in the locker room was visibly frustrated and left without answering any questions from the media. And then also recently he missed practice, not injury related, so it was personal. And so you would imagine that Stephon Diggs is still pissed off, which I totally get, and I fully support him in being upset. I totally get it. And so I got a couple of tweets and people on Facebook saying, hey, have you seen this? Are we trading Stephon Diggs? What are your thoughts on this? And I basically said to myself that I'm not going to react to this until I see what's going on. And that was up until I saw a tweet by Josina Anderson of ESPN, in which she said that essentially the Minnesota Vikings, they are not interested in trading Stephon Diggs, which is great. Which is really, really great. I think I've done a good job of keeping my cool with this team and not overreacting and getting riled up like I normally do. But I tell you what, if you trade Stephon Diggs, that crosses the line, and I will raise all holy hell. Any of our star players, I will raise all holy hell if you let them go. So they're not trading him, which is great. But just because the Vikings are not trading Stephon Diggs, it doesn't mean that he's still not pissed off. So I'm still going to keep a close eye on this situation. Hopefully he reports with the team that's ready to go to play the Giants this upcoming Sunday at MetLife, which brings us to the purpose, the topic, the main topic of this podcast, of this video: Vikings versus Giants this Sunday on the road, your Minnesota Vikings. And I think we are looking at, if this were the Eli Manning Giants, this would be a 2-minute podcast max. You're probably going to get 10 interceptions. You'll win by 40 points. There's nothing to talk about. But however, this is a new look Giants team led by head coach Pat Shurmur, former 2017 Vikings offensive coordinator Pat Shurmur, and Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, I will say this, going back to the draft, I was one of the many people. I didn't make a video about this. I didn't do anything. I don't think I made a tweet or anything about this at all. But I will fully admit, I was one of the many people out there at the time of the draft that said, what the hell are you doing? Why are you drafting Daniel Jones? This doesn't make sense. What a reach. Kind of similar to when the Knicks drafted Kristaps Porzingis. Oh my God, how can you do that? You drafted a soft Euro, and he turned out to be great. We don't know what Daniel Jones will turn out to be, but so far, through his first 2 starts of the season, they're now 2-2. They're on a two-game win streak. They have the same record as the Minnesota Vikings. Daniel Jones looks nice. He looks really, really nice. I fully admit that so far I was wrong in questioning Pat Shurmur and the New York Giants, but he looks really nice. And I thought the game that he had against Tampa was really impressive. The game he had against the Skins was not bad, but he had a couple of lumps out there. But either way, in both case scenarios, he kept his cool. He didn't overreact to the moment, whether he was winning really well against Tampa or maybe struggling a little bit against the Skins. Either way, he kept his calm. He kept his demeanor. He stayed strong in the pocket, looking to make plays. I think he has an okay offensive line. But even when there's pressure, he's still looking to make plays down the field. And just when you finally say, okay, let's figure out this passing game, how can we stop it? Just when you say, okay, maybe we can figure it out of nowhere, he can take off with his legs. He is sneaky fast with his legs, and he doesn't look like a guy that can run. Like, you know how you can look at players, or even if you're playing pickup ball or something, you can just look at guys and tell if they're athletic or if they're fast or not. Like, for instance, Taysom Hill with the New Orleans Saints. He looks fast. He looks athletic. Stephon Diggs, he looks fast. Daniel Jones really doesn't look fast, but he can really, he can fool you because he can take off out of nowhere and really extend plays with his legs. He's sneaky fast, but he's not looking to take off with his legs except in a last case or worst case scenario. Saquon Barkley, he's likely going to be out again. I saw a report, Pat Shurmur, oh my God, I'm not going to rule out Saquon Barkley. He's not going to play. But they have a pretty good replacement, a backup running back in Wayne Gallman, who I think is really talented. And I especially like his receiving abilities as a running back. And then also, he has two receiving weapons in Sterling Shepard. I like him a lot. But also Evan Engram, their tight end, who's really taken the league on by storm, I feel, this year. And then also they're adding Golden Tate to that mix. So those are three receiving weapons, not including Wayne Gallman. So I guess what I'm saying is the theme of the game for this situation, if the Vikings are going to win this game, is very simple. Just do your damn jobs. Do your jobs. We struggle against mobile quarterbacks, running quarterbacks, as well as tight ends. And I don't think that's going to change at all. So hopefully we can at least try to. We're not going to shut down Evan Engram, but I hope we can at least minimize the damage from him. When Daniel Jones, if he decides to take off with his legs, I don't think there's anything we can do about it. Maybe just have a spy, Eric Wilson or Anthony Barr, whoever's going to be out there. Just be ready for him and just do the best that you can, quite honestly. But just do your jobs. On defense, don't have Anthony Barr lined up on Wayne Gallman. I can't believe we're still having this conversation last year against the Rams where he gave up a receiving touchdown to Todd Gurley. Or this past Sunday, he was lined up against Tariq Cohen. And I don't understand why Mike Zimmer continues to do this, because Anthony Barr is going to get burnt every single time against legit receiving running backs. So if you line him up against Wayne Gallman, do not be surprised if he eats Anthony Barr's lunch every single time, every single play where Anthony Barr is lined up on him. And then also on defense, sticking with defense, stop playing soft-ass coverage on third and short, fourth and whatever. Stop playing soft coverage. I can't believe all season long we've been playing 5, 6, 7 yards off of the receivers the cornerbacks have on third and short, and then you can't be surprised when they convert for the first down and extend their possession for more drives for the opposing offenses. And then going to the Vikings offense, the Giants defense, they're one of the worst in the league, but I don't think their defensive line is all that bad. I mean, they're kind of okay, but they're nothing to raise hell about. It's after that, the second level and the secondary, where they really just suck ass out there. So there's nothing behind the defensive line. However, I expect Dalvin Cook to get like 4,000 yards rushing, and I would imagine that after Adam Thielen called out Kirk Cousins in the passing game, and quite honestly, in lieu of that, in conjunction with that, also called out the coaching staff saying, we can't rush the ball 40 million times. Adam Thielen was pissed off and Stephon Diggs was pissed off. I would imagine that you're going to try to get your star receivers involved. And Kirk Cousins, just don't look like a jackass out there, bro. Don't soil yourself. But at this point, I can't say whether he will or he won't, because I have no prediction on this game. I'm not going to make a prediction on this game at all, because I have no idea what's going to happen. If this was at US Bank Stadium, I would say, okay, you should be able to squeeze a victory. But it's on the road against a decent team from what we've seen from the new look New York Giants the last 2 weeks. So it's on the road and against a decent team. And Mike Zimmer, we know how he does against the road or on the road against decent teams. And it's funny because I think Chris Tomasin, I think he's with the Star Tribune. I apologize if I'm incorrect with that, but he tweeted out, Mike Zimmer talked to the media and said, I know that there's people jumping off the bandwagon, but you got to remember 2 years ago in 2017, we started out 2-2 before finishing 13-3. And if that's your argument, Mike Zimmer, where you're using historical references in regards to the previous records instead of talking about the problems right now, what is this, a Disney story? God, just stop with that crap. Let's talk about what's wrong right now. You do a better job performing in front of the media instead of performing on the sidelines as a head coach against actual decent to quality teams in the National Football League. Play better, coach better, and you should get the win. But I have no idea. I'm not going to expect anything. We'll see what happens. We do this 3 times a week. Mediocre at Best Sports Podcast with Realistic Randy. Extended audio podcast this week. I will be talking about Vontaze Burfict, who got suspended for the year. He should be banned from the NFL for life, but I'll talk about that. I'll react to that. Also, the Fair Pay to Play Act for collegiate student athletes in California. That's taking effect, I believe, in 2023. I'll react to that as well. You can find the link to the extended audio podcast on SoundCloud. You can find the link to that podcast in the description of this video. You can catch me on Twitter at realistic_Randy. You can catch me on Facebook at Realistic Randy. I will react to the results of the Vikings Giants game on Monday on this channel. So enjoy the game, folks. We'll see you then.